The Audi A8 proves that if you focus on the mechanical fundamentals, you can make an amazing luxury car and you don't have to go over the top with tech. I'll include a link to the Audi and Salt Lake's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this A8. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for Jason. Let's get into it. Powering this is a turbo 3-liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic. Fuel economy is 19 around town, 27 on the highway, with power outputs being 335 horsepower and then 369 pound-feet of torque. If you're looking for more unbiased, straight-to-the-point reviews like this, make sure you subscribe. Look at the simplistic design. You just have a big old flat hood, couple body lines though, and then even the headlights with the daytime running lights, there's something going on, but not a lot. And the simplicity, I think, just ages better over time and still looks good. 265 by 35 by 21 for the tire and wheel setup. They got a little bit of a darker coloration there on the brake caliper, which hides it a little bit. It's nice. Got the S-Line badge here, and then just everything's gonna be blacked out. And one of the cool things about this is it really flies under the radar, especially compared to the other full-size luxury sedans like the S-Class. They've kept things pretty simple with the key fob. You have your lock and unlock. You've got the opening for the trunk Audi logo there, and it's got a nice finish. Now, being a full-size sedan means you get vacuum lines on the mats. That's actually nice. Anyways, you've got a big cargo area. And let's see if we can pick this up a little bit. Spare tire. It's the first Audi I've seen with a spare tire today, I think. But yeah, I mean, that is massive, and it's also power with the closing. Got this light bar here in the back. You got all the badging, including the A8 L badge. That will cap things off for the exterior of the A8 L. Let's take a look at the interior. Thicker glass in the back. We've got sunshades here for the rear passengers. This is really nice. You got the wood trim there too. And then I think you've got storage. And they do like the heated armrests in the A8, which is kind of fun. All the controls for the windows, including the sunshades. And then you've got your little seat adjustment set up. The seats themselves perforated down the center, and then there's an insane amount of space here in the back. I mean, look at this. Infinite amounts of legroom. Got a little storage pocket there, more wood trim. You can see here with the vents in the back, got a couple 12 volts there. And let's see if this has a... Yeah, look at that. Seat adjustments and everything here on this little setup. Got a screen here in the center. USB ports too. There's even a center for the rear passengers, and of course you got the little vanity mirror. Always got to have that. Keyless entry, and let's check out the front. Blind spot monitoring, thicker glass up front. Really nice trim. You've got another little storage thing, again with the heated armrests. Memory seat function, you got all of your window controls and everything. The mirrors power fold in. Front seats perforated all down the center. You've got power adjustments on the side, massage function too. Now for the steering wheel, soft touch all around, paddles on the back, practical controls on the front, including for the volume. You got your controls for the center stack, all of your stocks down the back for everything, including cruise control. Full digital cluster, which is customizable, so you can change what is displayed here depending on what you're looking for. I definitely think that's, you know, obviously not as new as Audi's newest system, but it's good. Heads-up display. We've got soft touch all across the dash. Nice stitching. 360 camera system with this. You got the 3D view. It's good resolution. I think it's a good system overall. And the infotainment system, I mean, by some modern standards, it might be considered a little bit less responsive, but I think it's quick enough with the response. And then there's a secondary screen down below for the climate, the heated ventilated seats, your drive modes, all of that. Even your parking assist, volume control in that area. Got some cup holders. Shifter here to put it into gear. Got some nice trim on top of that. And then we've got the armrests, USB ports. I'm pretty sure these are heated if I remember right. When you turn your heated seats, it does the armrests too. And then you got the Quattro logo there. More nice wood trim. I like how that all kind of combines with the vents. Kind of a cool look. And then we do have a big sunroof. 2026 Audi A8 L, total MSRP, $107,805. Let's take this out and see how it performs. A8 L with Mercedes S-Classes. I mean, the last one that I saw was like, it had a V8 though. It was like 140 grand. There's another one's like 170. Those are expensive. The G90's like over 100 grand now. That was supposed to be like the budget option. The BMW 7 Series, those are as expensive as an S-Class. I mean, this is looking more and more like a bargain. And again, this is kind of like the Dodge Durango in the sense of, well, yep, it's an older car, but that means that the tooling is paid off at this point. It's got older tech and everything. So again, they can just produce it at a lower cost compared to the new stuff. And so they can, well, sell this at a lower price tag as well. I don't think that person's, I was gonna say, I don't think that person's actually turning. They tricked us. That was a lowered Chevy single cab. That thing was pretty cool. Probably supercharged too, who knows? But I mean, this is just, it's got the fundamentals. Quiet, like it's insulated. It's got pretty darn good build quality. It's got air suspension, long wheelbase, comfortable seats, massage seats. It's just a comfortable, quiet car. And this is the thing that I think that a lot of these automakers have lost the point on when it comes to luxury cars. There are simple mechanical, well, they're not simple, but there are mechanical fundamentals that if they're there, it's a good luxury car. And like, everyone's lost the plot on this because everyone's so focused on adding the most amount of tech to the cars that it's like, wait a second. All you have, like to make a luxury car better, I think, because luxury cars at this point are so good. With the electronic steering, you don't get any kickback. With the air suspension systems, it's very comfortable over bumps. And with the thicker glass and everything, it's just quiet inside. It's so insulated that all that has to happen now is just fine tuning. Like, hey, make the air suspension just a little bit quicker to react, or, you know, potentially like figure out how to make the springs softer over bumps. How can you make the glass a little bit more insulated? How can you make the door panel more insulated? Like, that's what they should be focusing on, not how big of a screen can we put in the car. How much, like the new BMW 7 Series has a TV in the back. Now, admittedly, it is kind of cool for like a car that you're supposed to drive people around in. But at the same time, like, how many of those are actually going to get used? So I always wonder, how many of those are actually going to get used? But this isn't just about these big full-size sedans. It's about luxury cars in general. A lot of them are no longer focusing on the fundamentals. And like, frankly, what I'm seeing is, and materials too, like having nice, high-quality materials. What I'm seeing is these luxury cars have lower grade materials. They don't drive as well. The engine isn't as smooth, if it still has an engine, if it's EV. So it's like they're losing a lot of this. It's like you got the big screen, and then the rest of the car is not as good as the old one. So I really do think this A8L shows how important the fundamentals are, because driving this, I like this just as much as I like the 7 Series. I think it's got just enough tech, and the luxury is really good. And this doesn't even have the V8. The V8 would make things even better because it would give you a monstrously powerful powertrain. But even with this turbo V6, it's smooth. If automakers, instead of going to the smallest possible engine, they have an engine that is adequate for the size of the vehicle, then you get smooth acceleration. That's luxury. That is luxury. And so that's the I think that's kind of, you could say, the irony of right now is luxury automakers could literally make like they could add things to cars that aren't that expensive and add so much value to the car and make people really feel like they're worth it, but they're not. Instead, they're focused on, like I said, they're focused on tech. I mean, when I drive this thing around, like, I love this. I just feel like I'm in this nice, comfortable luxury yacht, and I'm okay with driving the car. And, you know, adding like self-driving and stuff, some people might like that. I get that. But when a car is, I like the experience of piloting the vehicle. On the highway, yeah, you know what? I'm okay if maybe the car does a little bit of driving for me. But otherwise, I just enjoy sitting back, feeling the wheel go through your hands, feeling the engine. It's just nice. Going over the bumps and feeling how good the suspension is over those bumps. How it's like you get a little bit, so you know you're going over a bump, but it just soaks it up. This is what luxury is about. But again, as always, Nobody will ever listen to me. Nobody values my opinions when it comes to the automakers. They don't care. They'll just keep doing their mega screens and cheap interior materials, poor build quality for the new cars. They'll just keep doing that because they don't care. Let me know your thoughts. Today's giveaway highlight is a supercharged Silverado and Corvette Z06. If you're interested, use code BHC and this will give you 4x bonus entries into the giveaway.